Come join Rosie and me as we cruise on Celebrity Millennium on a 15-night Panama Canal cruise. Our Panama Canal transit started in Miami and included ports of call of Cartagena, Colombia, Colón, Panama, Punta Arenas, Costa Rica, Puerto Quetzal, Guatemala, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, Cabo San Lucas, and ended in San Diego. Thursday, May 10th, we flew from Milwaukee to Fort Lauderdale via AirTran. From Fort Lauderdale, we used a shuttle service to Miami. We stayed at the Doubletree Hotel, Biscayne Bay, and had a grand suite with 2 large balconies. The view from our balcony was breathtaking. Thursday night, we had dinner with Mark and Bunny and John and Betty at the Rusty Pelican. Friday was a gorgeous day with a high in the 80s. We had breakfast with Mark and Bunny and John and Betty at the Front Porch Cafe in South Beach. We spent the rest of Friday touring Miami. Friday evening, we had dinner with 22 Cruise Critic members at a Cuban restaurant. Saturday, May 12th. After a year of planning, it was finally here. It was time to board the Celebrity Millennium for our 15-night Panama Canal cruise. The Millennium is a 12-year-old ship, but it came out of dry dock 2 days before our cruise. Added were many Solstice-class features, including an eye lounge, cuisine, a quirky little restaurant served family style, bistro on 5 for crepes, and a blue restaurant for aqua class. It still has its 2-story main dining room and large outdoor pool, as well as an extensive art collection. It is a perfect mix of the old and the new. We stayed in cabin 8166 on the aft. Coming in from the balcony features a room with 2 sleeper sofas. Through a partition is the main sleeping area. On the right is an area with large counter space. On the left is a queen-size bed. Further up on the left is a bathroom with a large stand-up shower. On the right are 5 closets. The cabin also features 2 24-inch TVs, 1 in each compartment. The balcony is almost as large as the cabin and features 4 chairs and a table, 2 drink tables, and 2 chase lounges. Sail away from the Port of Miami was at 4:30 p.m. We had dinner reservations at 7:30 in the Olympic restaurant. Impeccable service, classic design, world-class cuisine, and comfortable sophistication are celebrated to the utmost in the Olympic restaurant. Sunday morning, May 13th, we're off the coast of Cuba for a sea day. Trish and Jay joined us on our balcony for a morning of relaxation. At 1:30, we had our Cruise Critic Connections party, followed by a cabin crawl. On a cabin crawl, Cruise Critics members open their cabins of various categories so that members can see what the various cabin categories look like. Sunday night was the first of 3 formal nights. We had dinner in the main dining room, followed by a trip to the Martini Bar.
that chocolate. Oh, yeah.
Great. Monday, May 14th, another sea day, was a windy day with 15-foot seas. It made exercising extremely difficult. At 2:30 in the afternoon, we attended a food and wine pairing event. To make great wine and food matches, it is critical to understand that the perception of wine flavor is grounded in the food's basic tastes. At about 6 o'clock, we dressed for the evening and then headed to the Cosmo Lounge for the nightly cocktail hour held from 5 until 7. At 7 o'clock, we joined 32 Cruise Critics members at the Cuisine restaurant. Cuisine strives to awaken the palate through a modern and whimsical approach to familiar dishes from around the world. Food is artfully presented without traditional courses and intended to be shared. Tuesday, May 15th. It's a sunny day as we arrive in the port city of Cartagena, Colombia. Today's excursion is a private tour for 10 with Dora the Explorer. Our first stop on the tour is at the monastery of La Papa. La Papa, built on the city's highest hill at 420 feet, features spectacular panoramic views. Cartagena was founded in 1533 and was a major center of early Spanish settlement in the Americas. Our next stop on the tour was the fortress of San Felipe, the largest Spanish fort in the New World. Surrounded by a ring of massive fortress walls built by the Spanish starting in 1586, the old city is a delightful enclave filled with shops, restaurants, and historically significant old structures which make for a fascinating walking tour. There are many notable sites within the old city's massive walls that contribute to the city's charm. Picturesque wooden balconies hang over narrow streets, while church spires rise above the tile roofs. At the center of the city is the city park, which bustles with locals and tourists. Next, we visited the church of San Pedro Claver. Constructed at the beginning of the 17th century by Jesuits, the church bears the name of the defender and protector of the slaves. As our walking tour of the old city concluded, we boarded our bus to see Cartagena's other tourist attraction, the Hotel Caribe, made famous by prostitutes and the U.S. Secret Service. Our tour concluded as we arrived back at the ship. Tuesday night, we started our dinner with a champagne toast, a very special dinner, the Chef's Table, the first ever held on Millennium. The Chef's Table dinner, limited to just 10 participants, was held in the ship's galley, and the food was prepared by Chef Steve, the Millennium's head chef. As the first course of our magnificent meal was being served, the galley was bustling with waiters and assistant waiters picking up food for the main dining room. When it was time for our main course, we were served by 5 waiters working in unison. The food was spectacular.
During our meal, we watched in amazement as highly organized mass chaos took place in the galley. Chef Steve remained cool through the whole thing. A spectacular cheese cart was presented prior to dessert, along with an after-dinner wine. On a 1 to 10 scale, the chef's table rates a 15. Wednesday, May 16th, a cloudy but hot and muggy day in Colón, Panama. Our shore excursion was a private tour with 16 Cruise Critic members and our private tour guide, Elvis. After a short bus tour of Colón, our first stop on the tour was at an observation deck at the Gatun Locks on the Panama Canal. While watching the canal in action from the viewing platform, it is hard to believe that the engineering used to accomplish this magnificent feat is over 100 years old. The second stop on our tour was to watch the construction of the new locks for the Panama Canal, scheduled to be completed in 2014. 2016 seems more realistic. Our next stop on the tour was at Portobello Town to visit the old church and fort. After our tour of Portobello Town, it was time for a beach break. The waters of the Caribbean were bathwater warm and inviting, and Elvis had a blender to make margaritas. Dinner Wednesday night was in the Olympic Restaurant, a specialty restaurant on the Millennium.